Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be tackling a fascinating concept, the 80-20 principle.
Ooh, yeah.
Which basically says a tiny fraction of input often leads to a huge chunk of the results.
Right.
Our guide for this journey is Richard Koch's book, The 80-20 Principle.
Cool.
And get this. He says 20% of criminals are behind 80% of crimes value.
Wow.
20% of drivers cause 80% of accidents.
Right.
Even 20% of kids end up with like 80% of the educational awards.
Huh.
Makes you wonder, right?
Yeah.
Could this apply to your life?
For sure.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah, it's a fascinating pattern, isn't it?
Yeah.
It all started way back in 1897
Oh, wow.
with Vilfredo Pareto, an Italian economist.
Okay.
He was studying wealth distribution in Italy.
Okay.
And he discovered something really surprising. 20% of the people held 80% of the wealth.
That's a wild imbalance.
Yeah.
It makes you think, though,
Yeah.
if this pattern pops up with something as complex as a whole country's wealth,
Right.
where else does it hide?
That's the question. That's exactly it.
Right.
What's remarkable about Pareto is he didn't just notice this in wealth.
Yeah.
He started comparing these percentages across different situations, which is a new way of thinking back then.
Okay.
That's really how the 80-20 principle was born.
Interesting.
And Koch's book is packed with examples that go way beyond just money.
I bet.
Think about it. If 20% of your products
Okay.
bring in 80% of your sales and profits.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Are you saying most businesses are working way harder than they need to?
Which is a very common finding.
Really?
Imagine 80% of your effort
Yeah.
only gets you 20% of the result.
Ooh.
That's a ton of wasted energy.
Yeah.
The 80-20 principle helps us zero in on that crucial 20%
Okay.
so we can stop spinning our wheels.
I'm starting to see the potential here.
Yeah.
But how do we actually find that magic 20% in a business?
Well, Koch calls it 80-20 analysis.
Okay.
Imagine you're a brewery, right?
Okay.
Trying to market a new beer. You ask 100 beer-loving friends
Yeah.
how much they drink each week.
Uh-huh.
Then you rank them from most to least.
Okay.
You might find that the top 20% of those friends
Yeah.
guzzle down 80% of the beer.
So if I were that brewery,
Yeah.
I'd be sending those heavy hitters all the free samples.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Could you apply this to, say, my to-do list too?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, it's about taking any set of data customers,
Right.
tasks,
Uh-huh.
even the features in a software program,
Okay.
and ranking them by importance.
Mm.
Then you compare the percentages
Okay.
to see where that 80-20 split shows up.
Interesting.
Koch warns us not to jump to conclusions, though.
Oh, really?
He gives this example of a bookstore that nearly cut down their selection,
Oh, wow.
based purely on sales figures.
I see. So it's tempting to just chop off what seems less important.
Yeah.
But what if those less popular books
Right.
are exactly what certain customers need?
Exactly.
And losing them means losing those customers too. That's the danger.
Right.
It's not about blindly following the numbers.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the nuances of each situation.
Okay, so crunching numbers is great if you've got them.
Yep.
But what about those times where it's more gut feeling?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a spreadsheet for how I spend my day, you know?
That's where 80-20 thinking comes in.
80-20 thinking.
Yeah. It's applying the principle to your everyday life,
Okay.
even without precise data.
Mm.
Think about it. You probably use only 20% of your word processor's features,
Oh, yeah.
80% of the time.
Huh, you're right. I bet I could write a whole novel using only like 5 buttons.
Totally.
So 80-20 thinking is about being aware of where we focus our energy
Right.
and seeing if we can be more efficient,
Yeah.
even without like hard stats.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this is especially relevant now
Yeah.
with the information overload
Oh my gosh, yes.
of the modern world.
It's crazy.
Koch argues that this actually empowers people
Okay.
at all levels of a company.
Because information isn't stuck with just the bosses anymore.
Precisely.
Right.
Yeah.
So everyone needs to be better at sifting through what matters.
Precisely.
Gotcha.
The 80-20 principle helps us filter through all that noise
Right.
and focus on the valuable insights that really drive progress.
Okay, I'm really starting to see how this applies beyond just business.
Yeah.
But we've only scratched the surface here, right?
Oh, there's so much more to explore.
Ooh, exciting.
Koch digs into how the 80-20 principle impacts strategy, productivity, even happiness.
Okay, I'm hooked.
Good.
Welcome back, everyone. In part 1, we laid the groundwork for this 80-20 principle.
Right.
Now I'm ready to see how it plays out in a real business setting.
Great. Let's delve into what Koch calls the 80-20 theory of the firm.
Okay.
You know, traditional economic theories
Yeah.
often assume that markets are perfectly competitive.
Come on, we know that's not true.
Right.
Some companies just have a knack for hitting those sweet spots.
You got it.
Yeah.
Koch's theory acknowledges this, suggesting that some firms are simply better at satisfying customer needs
Right.
while keeping costs down,
Yeah.
leading to higher profits.
So it's not just about being in the market, it's about being smart about where you compete.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Successful firms don't try to be everything to everyone.
Right.
They focus on areas where they can achieve the highest revenue with the least effort.
Okay.
And Koch argues that this targeted approach can significantly boost profitability, sometimes even dramatically.
Okay. That's a pretty compelling argument.
Yeah.
But how can a company pinpoint those high-value areas? Like, is there a map? Or are we talking about a treasure hunt here?
Luckily, there's a process for that.
Okay, good.
Koch calls it strategic 80-20 analysis.
Strategic 80-20 analysis?
It involves dissecting your products,
Okay.
your customers,
Right.
and even your competitors
Wow.
to see where the real gold lies.
Okay.
He uses a company called Electronic Instruments, Inc. as a case study.
Right.
They started by analyzing the profitability of each product, ranking them from highest to lowest.
Hang on, are we about to see the 80-20 split in action again?
You bet. They found that a mere 20% of their products were bringing in 80% of the profits.
Wow.
But they didn't stop there.
Oh.
They did the same analysis for their customers,
Okay.
grouping them by profitability.
Interesting.
The results: their most profitable customer group made up just 15% of their revenue,
Wow.
but a whopping 59% of their profits.
Talk about unevenness.
Yeah.
Clearly, not all customers are created equal.
Not at all.
Right.
This highlights why understanding customer profitability is key.
Okay.
Electronic Instruments, Inc. then mapped their sales and profits
Right.
across 15 different competitive segments.
So even within one company, you can have different battlefields.
Yeah.
Each with its own rivals and rules.
Exactly. By mapping this out,
Right.
they could clearly see which segments were moneymakers
Okay.
and which were actually costing them money.
Uh-huh.
This allowed them to shift their focus
Okay.
towards high-profit areas. Right. And cut their losses in those lagging behind.
It seems like strategic 80-20 analysis gives companies the insights they need to make tough decisions.
Right.
Like when to cut bait and move on.
For sure.
Now, Koch talks about the importance of simplicity,
Yes.
which seems a bit counterintuitive in our increasingly complex world.
It might seem that way.
Yeah.
But Koch argues that simple products, messages, and processes are much more effective
Okay.
and cost-efficient
Right.
than complex ones.
Interesting.
This simplicity is beautiful.
Philosophy
Simplicity is beautiful.
can be applied across the board, from product design to customer service.
So it's about stripping away the excess
Right.
and focusing on the core elements that deliver the most value.
Yeah.
But hasn't efficiency and customer focus always been important in business?
Of course. But business approaches have evolved over time.
Right.
Koch traces this evolution, starting with the production-led approach that
Okay.
dominated the early 20th century. Yes. Think Henry Ford and the assembly line, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Churning out as many products as possible.
Yeah.
But as markets matured,
Right.
companies realized that production alone wasn't enough.
Yeah.
They needed to understand what customers actually wanted,
Yeah.
leading to the marketing-led approach of the 1960s.
So tailoring products and marketing to meet those needs.
Right.
Yeah.
But even this approach can backfire.
Oh, how so?
When companies try to be everything to everyone,
Okay.
they end up with a confusing product range
Yeah.
and a customer base that's too diverse
Right.
to effectively serve.
So instead of spreading themselves thin trying to please everyone,
Yeah.
they should focus on a specific segment of customers.
That's where Koch's customer-led approach comes in.
Customer-led.
It's not about abandoning marketing altogether,
Okay.
but about refining it
Okay.
through the lens of the 80-20 principle.
Gotcha.
He shares a story about a car wash product company CEO
Okay.
who visited 50 underperforming car washes, initially focusing on trying to improve them.
But I'm guessing that didn't work.
Nope. The key was understanding what the top 20% of car washes
Oh,
doing right.
interesting.
Instead of trying to fix the bottom 80%,
Yeah.
he should have focused on replicating the success of the top performers.
So sometimes the best strategy is to double down on what's already working,
It does.
rather than getting bogged down in fixing what's broken.
Yeah,
It seems counterintuitive,
it does.
but it makes sense.
This applies to customer relationships as well.
Okay.
Koch emphasizes the importance of understanding your best customers.
Yeah.
And building on that,
Code.
nurturing those relationships,
Right.
and developing products that meet their specific needs.
So it's about building loyalty with those high-value customers.
Exactly.
Instead of constantly chasing after new ones.
Exactly. Losing even a small number of your best customers can have a huge impact.
Makes sense.
Now, let's talk about sales.
Okay.
It's a field where performance can be all over the map, right?
Oh, absolutely. Some salespeople just seem to have that magic touch.
Koch found that a small percentage of salespeople
Okay.
consistently generate the lion's share of sales.
Yeah.
He cites one example where 20% of the sales force brought in a staggering 73% of the sales.
Wow. So if you can improve your sales team's effectiveness,
Yes.
that's a direct path to a healthier bottom line.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And Koch offers some actionable steps to achieve that.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are his secrets?
First,
Yeah.
he says to hire top performers.
Okay.
Sounds obvious.
Yeah.
But many companies settle for mediocrity
Right.
when it comes to their sales team.
So investing in talent is key.
Yeah.
Recognizing that your salespeople are a major asset,
Yeah,
not just cogs in the machine.
exactly.
Yeah.
He also emphasizes focusing on key customers.
Right. So no more chasing after low-value leads.
Right. He also suggests specializing in high-margin products
Okay.
and adopting more efficient methods.
Mm.
This might involve using technology to automate tasks.
Right.
Or streamlining the sales process.
Working smarter, not just harder.
He also encourages experimentation,
Oh.
like swapping teams to see if successful strategies can be replicated elsewhere,
Okay.
or if struggling teams can learn from high-performing ones.
So constant optimization and improvement
Precisely.
instead of sticking with what's always been done,
Yeah.
no matter the outcome.
Precisely.
Okay.
And for those smaller, less profitable accounts,
Yeah.
Koch suggests centralizing them and using a telephone service.
Gotcha.
This frees up your top salespeople to focus on the big fish.
Okay, I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yeah.
Focus your energy where it has the most impact.
Exactly.
Now, how does the 80-20 principle apply to decision-making? Especially in today's information-saturated world where we're constantly bombarded with data.
That's a great question.
Right.
You know, Koch is actually critical of how much emphasis is placed on analysis in big businesses.
Really?
He argues that we've become obsessed with data
Yeah.
and complex models,
Right.
which can actually paralyze us.
So sometimes too much information can be a bad thing.
It is.
Analysis paralysis is real.
He advocates for intuitive decision-making, especially for less critical choices.
Okay.
Don't get stuck in a data spiral when a gut feeling will do.
Save that mental energy for the big calls.
Right.
But when it is a major decision,
Yeah.
how does the 80-20 principle help?
Koch stresses the importance of acting decisively.
Okay.
And equally important,
Yeah.
being willing to change course.
Right.
If something isn't working,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to experiment.
Mm.
And don't claim to a losing strategy just because you've sunk a lot of time into it.
So agility and adaptability trump ego,
Absolutely.
even if it means admitting you were wrong.
Absolutely.
Right.
And when something is working, go all in.
Oh, okay.
Don't let success make you complacent.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground here. Business strategy,
Yeah.
customer focus,
Yeah.
even sales techniques. Are there any other key areas where the 80-20 principle shines in the business world?
Absolutely. Koch delves into inventory and project management,
Okay.
showing how this principle can streamline operations
Hey,
and boost efficiency.
I'm always up for productivity hacks. Tell me more.
When it comes to inventory,
Yeah.
Koch highlights the importance of focusing on your most active SKUs,
SKUs.
the products that fly off the shelves.
Oh, okay.
Don't let your warehouse become a graveyard
Gotcha.
for slow-moving items.
So don't tie up resources and products that aren't bringing in the cash.
Right. He also recommends optimizing warehouse layout for picking efficiency.
Okay.
If your most popular items are easy to access,
Right.
your whole fulfillment process speeds up.
Less time hunting for things, more time getting them out the door.
Exactly. He even shares a story about helping a company streamline their stock management
Oh, cool.
and save a significant amount of money in the process.
I'm starting to see that being intentional with your inventory is key.
It is.
And I'm guessing the same goes for project management.
You got it. Koch emphasizes simplifying objectives,
Okay.
setting tight deadlines,
Right.
and laser focusing on the 20% of activities that will drive 80% of the results.
So cutting through the fluff and prioritizing those tasks that pack the biggest punch.
Exactly. He cautions against overcomplicating projects and And adding unnecessary bells and whistles.
Right.
Keep your eye on the prize.
Gotcha.
And stay laser focused on reaching those core objectives efficiently.
Okay, I'm on board with that.
Good.
Now, I'm curious about this lazy intelligence concept Koch brings up.
Yes.
It sounds almost like an oxymoron.
It does.
Right? Lazy intelligence.
But it challenges some traditional assumptions about success.
Okay.
He introduces the von Manstein matrix.
Von Manstein matrix.
Which categorizes people based on their intelligence and their work ethic.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Right.
Break down this matrix for me.
It has 4 quadrants.
Okay.
Intelligent and hardworking. Intelligent and lazy.
Okay.
Unintelligent and hardworking.
Right.
And unintelligent and lazy.
Oh, okay.
Von Manstein, a German general, famously said that the intelligent and lazy are best suited for leadership.
Interesting. So it's not just about brains or a strong work ethic. It's the combination of the two.
Exactly.
That matters.
Koch even suggests that we can cultivate lazy intelligence.
Cultivate lazy intelligence.
It's about being strategic and efficient with our efforts.
Okay.
Focusing on tasks with the highest returns.
Okay.
It ties into the increasing rewards seen by elite professionals who specialize and become masters of their niche.
So it's better to be a master of one than a jack of all trades.
That's the idea. Koch argues that in today's world, top talent can command top dollar.
Yeah.
If you can become the best at what you do, the rewards are substantial.
That's a compelling argument for specialization.
It is.
Now, how does this all tie back to building a successful career? Does Koch offer any advice for those of us navigating the professional world?
He does. He suggests choosing an area that interests you.
Okay.
And becoming more knowledgeable in that area than anyone else.
So find your passion and become a true expert.
Exactly. But he also encourages us to marketize our expertise.
Marketize?
To build a loyal customer base.
So it's not just about being good at something. It's about being able to showcase and sell those skills.
Right. And he emphasizes capturing 100% of your work's value.
Okay.
By becoming self-employed early on.
So break free from the traditional employment model and be your own boss.
That's the ticket.
Okay.
He believes this allows you to control your destiny.
Yeah.
And reap the full rewards of your hard work.
Specialize, marketize, be your own boss. Got it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious about the 80-20 principles application to investing.
Yeah.
How can we make our money work smarter, not harder?
Koch dives deep into this world, highlighting the power of compounding returns.
Right.
The longer you invest, the more your money can potentially multiply.
Time is money, as they say. But isn't the stock market inherently risky?
It can be.
Yeah.
But Koch argues that a strategic approach, guided by the 80-20 principle, can minimize risk and maximize returns.
Okay.
He suggests becoming an expert in a specific area.
Right.
Or following successful investors with proven track records.
Do your homework. Learn from the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Solid advice. Any other investing pearls of wisdom?
He emphasizes cutting your losses quickly.
Okay.
And letting your profits run.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to ditch a losing investment.
Right.
And don't be too quick to cash in on a winner.
So it's about being decisive and disciplined, not letting emotions cloud your judgment.
Exactly. Now, we've talked about work, money, success.
Right.
But Koch also explores how the 80-20 principle can lead to greater happiness.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for ways to boost my happiness quotient.
Koch starts by suggesting that 80% of our happiness comes from just 20% of our lives.
So pinpoint those activities and relationships that spark joy and make them a priority.
Right. But he challenges the idea that happiness is predetermined.
Okay.
Emphasizing the role of choice and action.
Right.
We have more control over our happiness than we often think.
So it's not just about fate, it's about taking charge.
Right.
And shaping our lives to maximize those feel-good moments.
Exactly. He stresses the importance of emotional intelligence.
Right.
Positive self-perception.
Okay.
And surrounding ourselves with positive people.
Yeah.
He even outlines 7 daily habits.
Oh, wow.
We can cultivate to boost happiness.
Okay, and spill the beans. What are those habits?
Think exercise, mental stimulation, spiritual or artistic pursuits.
Okay.
Doing good deeds, enjoying time with friends, treating yourself, and acknowledging your achievements.
So taking care of our physical, mental, and emotional well-being, and finding joy in the everyday moment.
Absolutely. He also provides 7 shortcuts to a happier life.
7 shortcuts. Okay.
These include maximizing control over your life, setting achievable goals, being flexible, nurturing strong relationships, and designing your ideal lifestyle.
So it's a holistic approach, recognizing that happiness isn't just one thing. It's a combination of choices and actions.
And this leads us to the social implications of the 80-20 principle.
Okay, let's explore that.
All right.
How does this principle apply to society as a whole?
Koch uses crime reduction in New York City as an example.
Okay.
In the early 90s, the city was facing high crime rates. Police Commissioner William Bratton implemented a strategy that targeted the 20% of offenders and situations, causing 80% of the crime.
So by tackling the root of the problem, they were able to make a real difference.
Exactly.
Wow.
This highlights how the 80-20 principle can be applied to social issues. Koch argues that we can use it to identify and amplify effective methods in areas like education and healthcare.
So finding those interventions that have a significant impact and scaling them up.
Precisely. By focusing resources on the most effective solutions, we can tackle some of society's most pressing problems.
We've really gone deep here.
We have.
Covering business strategy, personal happiness, and social change. It seems like the 80-20 principle is a powerful lens through which to view almost any aspect of life.
It really is. It encourages us to be more intentional, strategic, and focused in our efforts, always striving for the greatest impact.
This has been an eye-opening deep dive.
It has.
It's challenged my thinking and given me a whole new toolbox for approaching work, life, and everything in between.
And we're not done yet. There's still more to unpack.
Listeners, stay tuned for part 3, where we'll wrap up this incredible deep dive with some final thoughts. Welcome back, everyone. So we've explored this 80-20 principle in business, personal life, even its impact on society. But before we wrap up, I have to admit, some of this feels a bit, discouraging. We've seen how businesses can be inefficient, markets sometimes miss the mark. Even individuals often misdirect their energy. Does the 80-20 principle just highlight how much we're not achieving?
I understand where you're coming from. It might seem like a downer at first glance. But I actually think the 80-20 principle is incredibly optimistic. Think about it this way. If so many things are done inefficiently, with most effort yielding minimal results, imagine the potential for improvement.
I see what you mean. It's not about accepting the status quo.
Exactly.
It's recognizing that there's massive room for growth and progress.
The 80-20 principle doesn't point out these inefficiencies to make us feel bad, but to show us just how much better things could be. It empowers us to challenge assumptions. And find those high-impact areas where we can make a real difference.
I like that reframing. So instead of a glass half-empty view, it's more like, hey, there's a lot of room to fill this glass up. And that applies not just to businesses, but to individuals and society as a whole.
Absolutely.
Remember our conversation about education. Koch believes that if we apply the 80-20 principle to learning, we can revolutionize the entire process.
I agree.
It's about identifying and scaling those methods that have a disproportionate impact, not just tinkering around the edges.
Exactly.
It's like finding the educational equivalent of those high-performing car washes and helping everyone replicate their success.
Exactly.
But what about applying this to even bigger issues like social inequality? Can the 80-20 principle really help there?
Koch thinks so. He proposes something called social entrepreneurship.
Social entrepreneurship.
Which focuses on giving everyone access to assets and opportunities, allowing them to participate in the market economy.
So instead of just redistributing wealth, it's about empowering individuals to become value creators.
Exactly.
And contribute to overall prosperity.
It's about expanding the pie for everyone. Not just dividing up the existing slices.
And this highlights an important point. The 80-20 principle isn't inherently left-wing or right-wing.
It's a tool, a lens through which we can view and address all sorts of challenges.
I'm glad you brought that up. It's not about pushing an ideology. It's about pragmatically using this principle to achieve a variety of goals.
Exactly.
Depending on our values and objectives.
I couldn't agree more.
Right.
That's why I see the 80-20 principle as a force for progress.
Yep.
It encourages us to be intentional, strategic, and focused in our efforts.
Right.
Always striving for the greatest impact.
This deep dive has been incredible.
It has.
It's challenged my thinking and given me a whole new toolbox for approaching work, life, and everything in between.
It's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
Likewise.
As we wrap up,
yeah,
I'd like to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
What's your most valuable 20%? And how can you multiply its impact?
That's a powerful question for all of us to ponder.
It is.
Thanks for joining us on this insightful journey.
Of course.
Into the 80-20 principle.
It's my pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring.
Yes.
Keep pushing those boundaries.
Absolutely.
And remember, a small shift in focus can lead to extraordinary results.
恭喜你又听完了一本书，订阅以便不错过更多精彩节目，也别忘了分享给你的朋友，一起快乐听书学英语。